Ireland, a land of myths, legends, and heroes. But among all the warriors and kings of Irish history, one name stands out: Brian Boru. He wasn't just a king. He was a revolutionary, a warrior, and the man who almost united Ireland under one single banner. Today, we're diving into the epic life of Brian Boru, the Viking slayer, the clan uniters, and the High King of Ireland. Let's get into it. Our story begins around 941 CE in the Kingdom of Thomond in modern-day County Clare. Brian was born into the Dalgais clan, a smaller, less powerful group compared to the mighty Ui Neil dynasty that dominated much of Ireland at the time. But life wasn't easy for young Brian. The Vikings were everywhere, raiding villages, burning churches, and generally being the worst house guests you could imagine. In one of these attacks, Brian's family suffered a major loss, with several of his siblings killed. This event lit a fire in him. Brian's older brother, Mathcamain, took charge of the Dalgais and began rallying their forces against both rival clans and Viking raiders. And Brian? He quickly proved he was no ordinary warrior. Brian wasn't just strong, he was smart. He used guerrilla tactics, attacking Viking ships and strongholds when they least expected it. Over time, he became the stuff of legend, earning a reputation as a fierce warrior and brilliant strategist. When Mathcamain was killed, betrayed by a rival Irish king, Brian took over as leader of the Dalgais. Brian's first big goal? Control of Munster. To do that, he had to defeat the ruling Eoganacta dynasty, who had held power there for centuries. Spoiler alert, he did. By the late 970s, Brian wasn't just a local chieftain anymore. He was the king of Munster. But why stop there? With Munster under his control, Brian set his sights on something bigger: uniting all of Ireland. Now, uniting Ireland wasn't as easy as it sounds. Back then, Ireland was more like a patchwork quilt of kingdoms, each ruled by a king who thought he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And let's not forget the Vikings, who were still hanging around, causing chaos. By the late 10th century, the Vikings weren't just raiders. They had established towns like Dublin, Waterford, and Limerick, becoming a powerful force in Ireland. Brian knew he couldn't just kick them out. He had to outsmart them. Instead of fighting every Viking, Brian made alliances with some, while taking down the ones who refused to play nice. Slowly but surely, he brought Viking-controlled areas under his rule. By 1002, Brian had achieved the impossible. He dethroned Mael Secnail, the High King of Ireland, and claimed the title for himself. But here's the catch. Not everyone was thrilled about Brian's rise to power. Some Irish kings saw Brian as a tyrant, while others were just salty they weren't High King themselves. And so, the stage was set for one of the most famous battles in Irish history. The year was 1014, and Brian was now in his 70s. But age hadn't slowed him down. His rivals, including the Vikings of Dublin and the Kingdom of Leinster, had banded together to take him down. The result? The epic Battle of Clontarf. Brian's army was massive, but so was the enemy's. For hours, the battle raged on, with neither side giving an inch. In the end, Brian's forces emerged victorious, crushing the Viking-Leinster alliance. But this victory came at a terrible cost. During the chaos, Brian, who wasn't even fighting but praying for victory in his tent, was killed by a group of retreating Viking warriors. His death marked the end of an era. Brian Boru's death didn't just end a life. It marked the beginning of his legend. Though he never fully united Ireland, he came closer than anyone else before him. He was a warrior, a king, and a symbol of Irish resilience. Today, Brian Boru is celebrated as a national hero, a man who fought for unity and defended Ireland from foreign invaders. His story reminds us that even in a divided land, one person can inspire greatness. Brian Boru's life was filled with battles, alliances, betrayals, and triumphs. He may not have lived to see a fully united Ireland, but his legacy has stood the test of time. Thanks for watching. If you love this story of Irish history, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves tales of epic warriors. Slan go foil. See you next time.